Greetings, fellow test subjects. Test subject 1337 here for Aperture Gaming. They make it. We test it. You play it. And welcome to my review of Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. As you can see, I got the special edition that has like the physical art book, the Guardians of the Galaxy business card, and it comes with some other treats. But let's get into the review, shall we? Series. Now, this is not the first Guardians of the Galaxy game. There was a couple of years ago there was a Telltale series of the game, and Guardians, since they are part of the Marvel universe, have been featured in other games. But yeah, so I'm not sure if there is a direct connection between the Telltale series from a few years ago and this one, but yeah, so it is a second, I think second Marvel Guardians game. Team. The team that worked on this is Eidos Montreal and Square Enix. Plot. You play as Star-Lord, leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy. This game takes place a couple of years after the events. If I'm going based off the movies, it's taking place after the Infinity War. So yeah, now that everything's been resolved there, the Guardians of the Galaxy are doing what they always do, trying to find a way to make money and get clients to hire them to do pretty much anything. They are the odd job handy men and women of the galaxy, and if they happen to save the universe while they're at it, then hey, hopefully more money will come. So after trying to score money with a quick get-rich-quick scheme, they find themselves in needing of more money, so they have to do another get-rich-quick scheme, which then leads to a series of something strange is going on here, and we have to figure out what's going on. Can the Guardians of the Galaxy save the galaxy once more? Only you, playing the game, can help determine that. Gameplay controls. The controls are, as you play as Star-Lord, you have some... the game is third-person platformer of sorts. Well, I want to say... so, as Star-Lord, you run around, you pick up collectibles, you pick up items to help you upgrade your equipment in-game. There's collectibles that let you change the outfit that you're wearing and what outfits the rest of the Guardians are wearing. And like I said, there's some close physical combat, but mostly you rely on your twin pistols and your jet boots to fly around. And when the rest of the team is involved, you can command your team to attack with this special ability or defend with this special ability. And should your teammate run low on health and or stamina, as Star-Lord, you can then rally the troops with an inspiring battle cry speech, which gets everyone all revved up. Yeah, so the game balances between the collecting, the running around, the fighting, and early on there was a segment where you actually got to pilot their ship, so it's pretty cool how the game seems to have and also when you're not in the middle of combat, there's times where you have conversations, either one-on-one or while you're walking around, where you have to make a decision to either support this character and or burn this character, or make a joke or stay serious. And it looks like so based on what you do, it's that there's some action has consequence factor involved. So a lot of stuff in this game, crammed full of features. Graphics. This game looks really good. Sure, the Guardians of the Galaxy, they don't look 100% like what you see on the live films or what you see in the comics, but hey, since there's so many different iterations of the Guardians of the Galaxy, the vision, they don't have to look, 100% like they do from one specific source. So the characters do look like the Guardians. It is really good, and aside from the Guardians themselves, the environments are amazing. There's a good balance between a sentient being made spaceship or inside of a building versus organic natural outside of a planet. So, and also the enemies you fight, they have different looks and feels to them. So it is a great visual. And as you can see, I got this for the PS5 edition, so there's the 4 and the 5 edition, so visually all the graphics are great. Audio. The audio is pretty good too, and I checked, and no, none of the Guardians of the Galaxy are voiced by the people from the films, but everyone sounds pretty good for this different iteration of the Guardians. The audio is really, aside from the conversation stuff, there's great sound effects for like the environment and the combat. And here's what, since Peter is from the 1980s, the game does have a pretty good soundtrack. It has a whole bunch of select songs from real artists and real songs from the 1980s period. And in the game, Peter was a fan of a rock group called Star-Lord. And you actually get to hear, hang on, excuse me. You actually get to hear a little bit of the group Star-Lord in the game. And they do have a very 80s feel and sound to them, kind of like the Led Zeppelin or the Rolling Stones. It's like they have nailed the sound and the feel of the 1980s. So yeah, it's really good there. Multiplayer. No, there is no multiplayer. DLC. Yes, there is DLC. Now, the game that I got, I pre-ordered it from GameStop. So when I got the game, since I got this edition, there's the business card, there's a code on the back to enter a contest to try to win some cool stuff like a giant TV and other items. Also, so the DLC, you can get like the digital art book if you upgrade which edition you have. And there's some DLC to like get more costumes unlocked for Star-Lord right off the bat. There's like Sun-Lord and like when he's with the Nova Corps. So there's stuff you find in-game, but then there's some stuff that like I said, there's some outfits that you find in-game, but you can unlock a few other outfits with the DLC stuff. And one of the things was that you can unlock the soundtrack for the game. Now, as I aforementioned, there was the group Star-Lord, so when I thought, oh cool, I'm getting the soundtrack from the game, that's a whole bunch of cool 80s stuff right there. No, it is just, you only get the soundtrack from the record album of Star-Lord from the 1980s. But hey, it's pretty cool. It sounds great, and I look forward to adding it to my iPod, so it's going to be great. So yeah, so there's some good DLC, and I'm wondering if there's going to be some other future stuff later on, so hopefully, time will tell, fingers crossed. Issues. Now, unfortunately, there are some issues. Now, the first issue, I've started noticing that this seems to be a normal issue that happens right off the bat. Sometimes the audio and the visuals for the mouths and voices don't sync up properly. I've noticed this for a couple of times I've reviewed games. So when I first saw this, I was like, okay, let's see, how much space do I have on the hard drive? I have over 600 gigs of free space on the PS5. So that is not the case. So it's something with the game. Hopefully a patch update will take care of that. The other two issues I have noticed were during some of like the still conversations. Peter is just standing there and his hand actually goes through his gun that's on his side, so some visual clipping effect, or not noticing like, oh yeah, this is a gun, it's a solid physical object, my hand should not be able to go through it effect. Speaking of the still conversations, while the characters are standing there, there is some slight movement, like to convey how they are living, organic, breathing beings. It is just a little weird to see everyone just standing still during the back and forth conversations. It's almost like from the Fallout games, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, where people just stand there and it's like the whole, hi, how are you doing? Oh, I'm doing good, how are you? Thanks. It is a little weird with that, but I don't think that's an issue. I think it's just part of the game, so there is just a little stumble there with that part of the game, but overall, just a few minor issues. Buy, rent, or pass. This game, I'd say, definitely falls into the buy category. I didn't play the Telltale game, but maybe after this one I will do some research to see whether that's worth my time or not. But this game, yeah, I like it. I would definitely give it a buy. Overall score. Now, I've ranted and raved about this game, so clearly I'm going to give it high marks. And one of the cool things is how, since this game is set, here's what, there's a couple areas where a couple times you actually go back to prior to the Guardians of the Galaxy. You see Peter in his house with his mom, and there are so many 80s references. It's kind of a cool nostalgia trip. And seeing as how Disney owns some things, there are areas in the game that you see are from the 80s. And without spoiling too much, you see there was a poster from a Disney movie back in the 80s, And then you see this poster that's an homage, parody, tribute to another piece of 80s cinema. You also see some action figures. There's baseball cards, there's an old game system, there's books. There is so much that if you are from the 80s or a fan of the 80s, then you will have a pretty awesome nostalgia trip. Overall, I'd say the game is good. It plays well, the characters are really good, it's fun getting to play as the Guardians of the Galaxy, getting to explore the galaxy, the soundtrack is awesome. So aside from a few minor issues which could hopefully be resolved, I'd say Guardians of the Galaxy gets a 9.5 out of 10. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode, folks. Thank you for watching. We apologize for how long it took to get all of these videos out to you, but we thank you for your time, patience, and loyalty to the channel. We hope you continue sticking with us, and we hope you continue to stay tuned as time keeps going forward. More new and more cool stuff will be coming along, which we'll be able to praise. And on the flip side, some more new stuff which could potentially stink will come out. And hopefully I don't have to touch it, but if I do, then I can warn you guys and gals out there to not touch it at all. So, thank you for watching. This has been Test Subject 1337 for Aperture Gaming saying thank you very much one more time, and as always, game on and have a nice day.